You are not broken. You are not damaged goods. You are not someone who needs to be fixed. Right now, in this very moment, you are complete and whole, and everything you need to create an extraordinary life is already within you. The problem is not that you lack something. The problem is that you have forgotten who you truly are. Let me share something with you that might change everything. Your thoughts create your reality. Not sometimes, not when you are feeling good, always. Every single thought you think is creating your future right now. If you are thinking thoughts of lack, you will experience lack. If you are thinking thoughts of abundance, you will experience abundance. It is that simple, and it is that profound. Most people walk through life as if they are victims. They believe that what happens to them is beyond their control. They say things like, "I cannot help the way I feel," or "that is just the way I am," or "I had a difficult childhood." And yes, things happen to all of us. Life presents challenges. But here is what I want you to understand. You are not your circumstances. You are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become in this moment. The first rule for transforming your life is this: take complete responsibility for everything in your life. Not just the good things, everything. When you blame others, you give away your power. When you make excuses, you remain stuck. But when you say, "I am responsible for my life, and I am the one who can change it," something magical happens. You reclaim your power. You become the creator of your life instead of a victim of your circumstances. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You are thinking about that terrible thing that happened to you, and you are saying, "How can I be responsible for that?" Listen carefully. Being responsible does not mean you caused everything that happened to you. It means you are responsible for how you respond to it. It means you are responsible for the meaning you give it. Two people can experience the same event, and one will let it destroy them while the other uses it to become stronger. The difference is not what happened. The difference is how they chose to think about what happened. The second rule is this: change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. This is not just some positive thinking nonsense. This is quantum physics. This is the way the universe actually works. When you change your perception, you literally change your reality. If you look at a problem and see only obstacles, that is what you will find. But if you look at the same problem and see opportunities for growth, for learning, for becoming stronger, then that becomes your experience. I spent years of my life angry at my father for abandoning our family. I carried that anger like a heavy stone. It affected my relationships. It affected my peace of mind. And then one day I realized something. My father did not have the capacity to be different than he was. He was doing the best he could with the level of awareness he had. When I changed the way I looked at him, when I saw him with compassion instead of anger, everything changed. Not because he changed, he was gone by then. Everything changed because I changed. The third rule is about forgiveness, and this is crucial. You must forgive everyone who has ever hurt you, not for them, for you. When you hold on to resentment, when you refuse to forgive, you are drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. The person you are angry at is living their life, probably not even thinking about you, while you are suffering every single day. Forgiveness is not saying what they did was okay. Forgiveness is saying, "I am no longer willing to carry this burden. I am setting myself free." And here is something important about forgiveness. The person you need to forgive most is yourself. You have made mistakes. We all have. You have done things you regret. We all have. But continuing to punish yourself serves no one. It does not change the past. It only poisons your present and your future. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, "I forgive you. I love you. You did the best you could." Say it every day until you believe it, because it is the truth. The fourth rule is this: stop looking outside yourself for validation, for approval, for your sense of worth. You were not born needing anyone's approval. Watch a baby. A baby does not wake up wondering if people will like them. A baby is completely content just being. It is only later, as we grow up, that we learn to seek approval from others. We learn to believe that our worth comes from what others think of us. But that is a trap. When you need approval from others, you give them control over your happiness. You become a puppet, and they hold the strings. Your worth is inherent. You do not need to earn it. You do not need to prove it. You are valuable simply because you exist. When you truly understand this, when you truly know this in your bones, you become free. You stop performing for others. You stop trying to be someone you are not. You start living authentically, and that is when life becomes truly beautiful. The fifth rule is about creating a vision for your life. If you do not know where you are going, any road will take you there. Most people spend more time planning a vacation than they spend planning their lives. They drift through life reacting to whatever comes their way, and then they wonder why they feel unfulfilled. You must have a clear vision of what you want your life to look like. Not what your parents want, not what society says you should want, what you want. Close your eyes and see yourself living your ideal life. See it in detail. Where are you? Who are you with? What are you doing? How do you feel? Make it so real that you can taste it, smell it, feel it. And then here is the key: live from that vision, not toward it. Start being the person you would be if you were already living that life. Start thinking the thoughts that person would think. Start taking the actions that person would take. The universe responds to who you are being right now, not who you hope to be someday. The sixth rule might surprise you. Let go of attachment to outcomes. Yes, have a vision. Yes, know what you want. But do not be attached to exactly how it shows up or exactly when it shows up. When you are attached to outcomes, you create resistance. You create anxiety. You close yourself off to possibilities that might be even better than what you imagined. Do your work, take your actions, and then surrender. Trust that the universe has your back. Trust that what is meant for you will find you. I have seen this in my own life time and time again. The things I tried to force never worked out. The things I struggled for fell apart. But when I set my intention and then let go, when I trusted and allowed, the most amazing things showed up in ways I could never have planned or predicted. The universe is far more creative than your limited mind. Get out of the way and let it work. The seventh rule is this: practice gratitude every single day, not just when things are going well, every day. Gratitude is the most powerful force in the universe. When you are grateful, you cannot simultaneously be angry or fearful or depressed. Gratitude lifts your vibration and aligns you with the highest frequencies of creation. Start your day by thinking of 3 things you are grateful for. End your day the same way. Be grateful for the roof over your head, the food on your table, the breath in your lungs. Be grateful for challenges because they make you stronger. Be grateful for difficult people because they teach you patience and compassion. When you live in a state of gratitude, you tell the universe, "Yes, more of this, please." And the universe responds by giving you more to be grateful for. It is a beautiful cycle. But it starts with you making the conscious choice to focus on what you have instead of what you lack, on what is right instead of what is wrong. The 8th rule is about giving. Give without expecting anything in return. Give your time, your energy, your love, your resources. When you give, you affirm to yourself and to the universe that you have abundance. You cannot give from a mindset of scarcity. Giving is the antidote to fear and lack. It opens you up to receive even more. But you must give with a pure heart, not as a manipulation to get something back. Give because it feels good. Give because it is who you are. And here is something important. Give to yourself too. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Taking care of yourself is not selfish, it is necessary. You are no good to anyone if you are depleted, exhausted, and resentful. Fill your own cup first, and then let the overflow spill out to others. Say no when you need to say no. Set boundaries. Honor your needs. This is not selfish. This is self-love. And self-love is the foundation of everything. The 9th rule is to get out of your comfort zone regularly. Growth does not happen in comfort, it happens in the stretch. Every time you do something that scares you a little, every time you try something new, you expand. You prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you thought. And confidence is not something you are born with. Confidence is something you build by doing difficult things and surviving them, by trying and failing and getting back up. Most people live tiny lives because they are afraid. They are afraid of failure. They are afraid of what others will think. They are afraid of looking foolish. But let me tell you something. The opinion of someone who is not living your life does not matter. And failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of success. Every successful person has failed more times than unsuccessful people have even tried. The difference is they kept going. They learned from their failures and used them as stepping stones. What would you do if you knew you could not fail? What would you try? Who would you become? Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting until you feel ready. Stop waiting until conditions are perfect. They never will be. Start now. Take one small step toward your dream today, and then another tomorrow. That is how extraordinary lives are built, one brave choice at a time. The 10th rule, and this might be the most important one, is this: know that you are not separate from the source of all creation. Call it God, call it the universe, call it whatever you want. But know that you are not separate from it. You are not a drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean in a drop. The same creative force that makes flowers bloom and planets orbit and stars shine is within you. You have access to infinite intelligence, infinite creativity, infinite power. Most people feel small and powerless because they believe they are separate, alone, disconnected. But that is an illusion. You are connected to everything and everyone. You are part of the fabric of the universe itself. When you truly understand this, when you feel this connection, everything changes. You stop feeling like you have to do everything alone. You start to trust. You start to allow. You start to flow with life instead of against it. Think about this for a moment. Every atom in your body was created in the heart of a star. You are literally made of stardust. The elements that make up your body are the same elements that make up the entire universe. You breathe in oxygen that was once breathed by every person who ever lived. The water in your body has cycled through clouds and oceans and rivers for millions of years. You are not separate from nature, you are nature. And just as nature does not struggle, you do not have to struggle either. Have you ever seen a flower trying hard to bloom? Have you ever seen a bird worried about whether it can fly? Nature flows. Nature trusts. Nature allows. And you can too. When you align yourself with the natural flow of life, when you stop resisting and start allowing, life becomes so much easier. Now, let me address something that I know many of you struggle with. You might be thinking, this all sounds good, but my life is hard right now. I have real problems. I have bills to pay. I have difficult relationships. I have health issues. I understand. I am not suggesting that you can just think positive thoughts and all your problems will magically disappear. That is not how this works. What I am saying is this: the way you think about your problems determines whether they defeat you or develop you. You can look at your financial struggles and think, I am a failure. I will never get ahead. Or you can think, this is teaching me to be resourceful. This is teaching me what truly matters. This is temporary. Both thoughts are about the same situation, but they create completely different experiences. You can look at a difficult relationship and think, this person is making my life miserable. Or you can think, this person is showing me where I need to grow. This person is teaching me about boundaries, about communication, about love. Same relationship, different perspective, different experience. This is not about denying reality. This is not about pretending everything is perfect when it is not. This is about choosing empowerment over victimhood. This is about choosing growth over stagnation. This is about choosing to be the author of your story instead of a character being acted upon. Let me tell you about a concept that changed my life. It is the concept of the gap versus the gain. Most people spend their entire lives in the gap. They are constantly measuring themselves against some ideal, some goal, some standard, and they always fall short. They are always focused on what they do not have yet, what they have not achieved yet, who they have not become yet. And they feel like failures because of it. But there is another way to live. You can live in the gain. Instead of measuring yourself against an ideal, measure yourself against where you started. Look at how far you have come. Look at what you have overcome. Look at what you have learned. Look at who you have become. When you do this, you realize that you are winning every single day. You are making progress. You are growing. And that feels completely different. Every single person listening to this has overcome challenges that would have destroyed a weaker version of themselves. You have survived things you thought you could not survive. You have learned things you thought you could never learn. You have grown in ways you did not even realize. Stop focusing on how far you still have to go and start celebrating how far you have already come. Here is another powerful truth. You are not your thoughts. You have thoughts, but you are not them. Most people are completely identified with their thinking. A thought pops into their head and they believe it is true. They believe it is who they are. But thoughts are just thoughts. They are not facts. They are not truth. They are just mental events passing through your consciousness. When you learn to observe your thoughts instead of being caught up in them, everything changes. You realize that you do not have to believe every thought you think. You can choose which thoughts to pay attention to and which to let go. You can choose which thoughts serve you and which do not. This is freedom. This is power. Try this right now. Notice that you are thinking. Notice that there is a part of you that is aware of your thoughts. That awareness, that witness, that is the real you. That awareness is always peaceful, always present, always whole. It is your thoughts about life that create suffering, not life itself. When you rest in awareness, when you step back from your thinking, peace is always available. Let me share something about fear, because I know fear stops so many people from living the lives they truly want. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is actually trying to protect you. Your brain is designed to keep you safe, and it interprets anything new or uncertain as potentially dangerous. So when you think about making a big change, asking for that promotion, starting that business, ending that toxic relationship, your brain sounds the alarm. It fills you with fear to try to keep you in the familiar, the known, the safe. But here is what you need to understand. That fear is based on ancient programming. Your brain is reacting as if stepping outside your comfort zone is like stepping into a jungle with lions and tigers. But it is not. The worst that will happen is you might feel uncomfortable, you might fail. Someone might say no. You might look foolish. None of those things will kill you. None of those things will destroy you. But staying stuck, playing small, living a life that is less than what you are capable of, that is the real danger. So when you feel fear, do not run from it. Thank it. Say, thank you, fear, for trying to keep me safe. I appreciate your concern, but I am okay. I am choosing growth over comfort. And then do the thing anyway. Every time you act in the presence of fear, you become stronger. You prove to yourself that fear is not the boss of you, and eventually, you and fear can coexist peacefully. You can feel afraid and still take action. Now let us talk about relationships, because this is where so many people get stuck. You cannot change other people. You can only change yourself. I know you want your partner to be more affectionate. I know you want your boss to appreciate you more. I know you want your parents to understand you. But wanting other people to change so you can be happy is a recipe for suffering. The only person you can change is yourself. And here is the miracle. When you change, everything changes. When you become more loving, more compassionate, more understanding, the people around you respond differently. Sometimes they rise to meet you at your new level. Sometimes they fall away, making room for new people who are a better match for who you are becoming. Either way, you win. Stop waiting for others to make you happy. Stop believing that you will be happy when they finally change. Be happy now. Love them now. Accept them now. Or if you cannot accept them, if the relationship is truly toxic, love yourself enough to leave. But do not stay and suffer and blame them for your suffering. That is giving your power away. And speaking of relationships, the most important relationship you will ever have is the relationship with yourself. How do you talk to yourself? Are you kind and encouraging, or are you harsh and critical? Most people would never speak to a friend the way they speak to themselves. They are brutal. They call themselves names. They focus on every flaw. They dwell on every mistake. And then they wonder why they feel so bad. Start treating yourself like someone you love. Start speaking to yourself with kindness and compassion. When you make a mistake, do not beat yourself up. Say, I am learning. I am growing. Next time, I will do better. When you look in the mirror, do not focus on everything you want to change. Look yourself in the eyes and say, I love you. You are doing great. I am proud of you. This might feel awkward at first. Do it anyway. Your relationship with yourself sets the tone for every other relationship in your life. Let me share something about your purpose, because I know many of you are searching for it. You might believe that there is one specific thing you are meant to do, one special purpose you need to find, and you are waiting for some sign, some revelation, some clarity before you can really start living. But that is not how it works. Your purpose is not something you find. Your purpose is something you live. Your purpose is to be love, to spread joy, to help others, to express your unique gifts. That can be done in infinite ways. You do not need to have it all figured out. You just need to start where you are with what you have. Do the next right thing. Follow what brings you joy. Pay attention to what makes you feel alive. That is your purpose calling to you. And here is something important. Your purpose can change. Who you are at 20 is not who you are at 40. What lights you up today might not light you up in 5 years. That is okay. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to change direction. You are allowed to want different things at different stages of your life. Stop trying to figure out the entire path. Just take the next step. I want to talk about something that affects everyone. The need to be right. So many arguments, so much suffering, so many broken relationships, all because people need to be right. Let me tell you something. You can be right or you can be happy. Most of the time you cannot be both. Is it really worth damaging a relationship to prove that you are right? Is your ego really that important? Practice saying these words, you might be right, even when you do not believe it, even when you are absolutely certain they are wrong. Say, you might be right, I see it differently, but you might be right. Watch what happens. The tension dissolves, the argument ends, peace is restored. Not because you are being fake or dishonest, but because you are choosing connection over being right. You are choosing love over ego. Here is a profound truth. What you think of me is none of my business. What anyone thinks of you is none of your business. It is their business. It is about them, not about you. When someone judges you or criticizes you or rejects you, that is information about them, their values, their wounds, their fears. It is not information about your worth. You will never be able to control what others think of you, so stop trying. Some people will love you, some people will not, some people will understand you, some people will not. That is okay. Your job is not to make everyone like you. Your job is to be authentic, to be true to yourself, to live according to your own values. The people who are meant for you will find you. The people who are not will fall away. Trust the process. Let me share something about abundance, because so many people struggle with money and feel guilty about wanting it. There is nothing wrong with wanting financial abundance. There is nothing spiritual about being poor. Money is just energy. It is a tool. It is neutral. What matters is your relationship with it and what you do with it. If you believe that money is hard to come by, that is what you will experience. If you believe that rich people are greedy or that wanting money is shallow, you will sabotage yourself every time you start to get ahead. But if you believe that money flows easily, that there is more than enough for everyone, that you can do tremendous good with money, then it will come to you more easily. Stop apologizing for wanting more. Stop feeling guilty for having desires. You are not taking anything away from anyone else by prospering. In fact, the more abundant you are, the more you can give, the more you can help, the more you can contribute. Do not play small because you think it makes you more spiritual. The world does not need more people playing small. The world needs you showing up fully, living fully, creating fully. And here is something important about giving and receiving. Many people are comfortable giving but uncomfortable receiving. They think it is more spiritual to give than to receive. But that is false. Giving and receiving are two sides of the same coin. When you refuse to receive, you block the flow. You deny others the joy of giving to you. Practice receiving with grace and gratitude. Say thank you when someone compliments you instead of deflecting. Accept help when it is offered. Allow yourself to be supported. This opens the channel for even more abundance to flow. Now let me address something that causes tremendous suffering, living in the past or the future instead of the present moment. The past is gone. It only exists in your memory. The future has not happened yet. It only exists in your imagination. The only moment that actually exists is this one, right now. And yet most people spend almost no time here. They are lost in regret about the past or anxiety about the future. But all of your power is in this present moment. This is where life is actually happening. This is where you can take action. This is where you can experience joy and peace and love. When you bring your full attention to this moment, you realize that right now, in this moment, you are okay. Right now, you have what you need. Right now, you are breathing, you are alive, you are here. Practice bringing yourself back to the present moment throughout your day. Feel your feet on the ground. Notice your breath. Look around and really see what is in front of you. Listen to the sounds around you. This is not some New Age nonsense. This is the key to peace. Peace is not found by rearranging the circumstances of your life. Peace is found by being fully present with what is. Let me tell you about the power of commitment. When you truly commit to something, when you say, I am doing this no matter what, the universe conspires to help you. Doors open, people appear, resources show up, but half-hearted commitment does not work. Trying does not work. You either do it or you do not. There is no try. Think about something you really want. Now ask yourself, am I committed to it or am I just interested in it? Interest means you will do it when it is convenient. Commitment means you will do it no matter what. Interest means you will have excuses. Commitment means you will find a way. Which one are you? If you are truly committed, prove it. Take action today, not tomorrow, not when you feel more ready, not when conditions are better. Today, even if it is a small action, even if it is imperfect, movement creates momentum. Momentum creates results. But you have to start. Here is something I want you to understand about your past. Your past does not define you unless you let it. You are not your history. You are not your mistakes. You are not your traumas. Yes, those things happened. Yes, they shaped you. But they do not have to control you. You get to decide who you are right now in this moment. Some of you are still telling yourself the same old story about why you cannot succeed, why you cannot be happy, why you cannot have what you want. And that story starts with something that happened years ago, maybe decades ago. But that is ancient history. The only reason it still has power is because you keep telling the story. You keep giving it energy. You keep making it mean something about who you are today. What if you told a different story? What if instead of focusing on what was done to you, you focused on how strong you became? What if instead of identifying as a victim, you identified as a survivor, a thriver, an overcomer? Same past, different story, different life. Let me share something about expectations. Expectations are premeditated resentments. When you expect people to behave a certain way, when you expect life to unfold a certain way, you set yourself up for disappointment. Not because life is disappointing, but because reality rarely matches your expectations exactly. This does not mean you should not have standards. This does not mean you should accept poor treatment. What it means is, hold your expectations lightly. Have preferences, not demands. Hope for the best, but do not attach your happiness to specific outcomes. Life is going to do what life does. Your job is to remain flexible, to adapt, to find the gift in whatever shows up. Some of the best things that ever happened to you probably did not match your expectations. Maybe they were completely different from what you planned. Maybe they came in a form you did not recognize at first. Stay open, stay curious, stay willing to be surprised. Now, I want to talk to you about the voice in your head, that constant commentary, that endless stream of thoughts and judgments and worries. That voice is not you. That voice is your ego. And it is terrified of change, terrified of being wrong, terrified of not being in control. The ego needs problems. The ego needs drama. The ego needs to feel separate and special. But there is another part of you, a quieter part, a wiser part. Some people call it intuition, some call it the higher self, some call it the soul. This is the part of you that knows. It does not think or analyze or worry, it just knows. And it is always guiding you toward your highest good. Learn to distinguish between these two voices. The ego is loud and frantic and fearful. The higher self is quiet and calm and certain. The ego screams, the higher self whispers. When you have a big decision to make, get quiet and listen for that whisper. It will never steer you wrong. Let me tell you about the importance of taking care of your body. Your body is not separate from your spirit. Your body is the vehicle that carries your spirit through this life. When you neglect your body, when you abuse it with poor food or lack of sleep or lack of movement, you are making it harder for your spirit to shine through. When you honor your body, when you nourish it and move it and rest it, you create the optimal conditions for your highest self to express. You do not need to be perfect, you do not need to look a certain way, but you do need to care for this miraculous machine that allows you to experience life. Eat food that makes you feel good. Move in ways that bring you joy. Get enough sleep. Drink water. These are not chores. These are acts of self-love. These are ways of saying thank you to your body for all it does for you. And listen to your body. It is always communicating with you. When you feel tired, rest. When you feel energized, move. When something does not feel right, pay attention. Your body has wisdom that your mind does not have. Trust it. Here is something about service. The fastest way to get out of your own head, to stop obsessing about your problems, to feel instantly better, is to help someone else. When you focus on serving others, when you ask, what can I give, instead of what can I get, your energy shifts, your perspective shifts, your vibration shifts. You do not need to do anything big or dramatic. Small acts of kindness are powerful. Smile at a stranger, hold the door, listen to someone who needs to talk, send an encouraging message, pay for someone's coffee. These small acts create ripples that spread far beyond what you can see. And here's the beautiful thing. When you give without expectation, you receive far more than you gave. Not necessarily from the person you gave to, but from the universe. Giving opens your heart. It reminds you that you are connected to all of life. It aligns you with the flow of abundance. Make service a regular part of your life and watch how your life transforms. Let me address something that many people struggle with, the feeling that time is running out. You might be thinking, I am too old to start over. I wasted so many years. It is too late for me. Let me tell you something. It is never too late. You are never too old. As long as you are breathing, you have time to create a life you love. Some people do not discover their true calling until they are 50 or 60 or 70. Some people start completely new careers in their later years and achieve tremendous success. The only time it is too late is when you stop believing it is possible. Time is not your enemy. Your limiting beliefs are your enemy. Stop counting the years you think you wasted and start making the years you have left count. The past is gone. You cannot change it. But the future is wide open. You can create anything. You can become anyone. Stop using your age as an excuse and start using your experience as fuel. I want to share something about faith. Not religious faith necessarily, although if you have that, beautiful. I am talking about faith in the process of life. Faith that things are always working out for you, even when you cannot see how. Faith that you are supported, guided, loved. Faith that there is meaning and purpose in everything, even the difficult things. When you have faith, you can relax. You can stop trying to control everything. You can stop worrying about every little detail. You can do your part and then trust that the rest will work out. Faith is not passive. Faith is the most powerful force there is. Faith moves mountains. Faith creates miracles. Faith transforms lives. How do you develop faith? You start by looking at your life and seeing all the times things worked out even when you could not see how they would. You notice the synchronicities, the perfect timing, the unexpected help that appeared just when you needed it. The more you notice these things, the more your faith grows. And the more faith you have, the more evidence of its power you will see. It becomes a beautiful upward spiral. Let me talk about the importance of saying no. So many people are overwhelmed, exhausted, resentful because they say yes to everything and everyone. They are afraid of disappointing people. They are afraid of being seen as selfish. They are afraid of missing out. So they overcommit and then they suffer. But every time you say yes to something that is not aligned with your values, your priorities, your well-being, you are saying no to something that is. Every time you say yes to someone else's agenda, you are saying no to your own. You cannot do everything. You cannot be everything to everyone. And trying to do so will leave you depleted and resentful. Learn to say no with grace but without guilt. No is a complete sentence. You do not owe anyone an explanation. You do not need to justify your choices. No, I cannot do that. Or no, that does not work for me is perfectly acceptable. The people who truly love and respect you will understand. The people who do not were probably taking advantage of you anyway. Here is something profound. Your happiness is not selfish. Your peace is not selfish. Your well-being is not selfish. In fact, when you are happy, peaceful, and well, you have so much more to give to others. You show up as your best self. You have more energy, more patience, more love. Taking care of yourself is not selfish. It is the most generous thing you can do. Stop sacrificing yourself for others. Stop believing that suffering makes you noble. Stop thinking that you have to earn your worth through constant giving and doing. You are worthy simply because you exist. Taking time for yourself, doing things that bring you joy, prioritizing your needs, these are not luxuries. These are necessities. Let me share something about the power of your words. Your words create your world. When you say, "I am terrible at this," or "I never have enough money," or "I always mess things up," you are literally programming your subconscious mind to make those statements true. Your subconscious does not know the difference between reality and what you tell it. It simply accepts what you say as fact and then goes to work to make it true. Start paying attention to how you speak about yourself and your life. Catch yourself when you use limiting language. Replace it with empowering language. Instead of "I cannot," say "I am learning how to." Instead of "I am broke," say "I am improving my financial situation." Instead of "I am stuck," say "I am figuring this out." These may seem like small changes, but they are incredibly powerful. And speak life to others as well. The words you use to others have tremendous impact. Encourage them. Build them up. See the best in them. When you speak to the highest in others, you help them rise to meet it. Words have creative power. Use them wisely. Use them to heal, to inspire, to uplift. I want you to understand something about challenges and obstacles. They are not punishments. They are not signs that you are on the wrong path. They are opportunities for growth. Every challenge you face is making you stronger, wiser, more capable. The universe is not against you. The universe is for you, and it knows that comfort does not create growth. Challenges do. When you face an obstacle, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this teaching me?" Or "How is this making me stronger?" Or "What opportunity is hidden in this?" This shift in perspective changes everything. Suddenly, the obstacle is not something to be feared or avoided. It is something to be faced and learned from and overcome. The strongest trees are not the ones that grew in perfect conditions. They are the ones that face strong winds and harsh weather. The adversity made their roots grow stronger. The same is true for you. The challenges you are facing right now are growing your roots. They are making you unshakable. Trust the process. Let me tell.